Only God could rescue me. Only God could set me free. Only God. Only God. Only God.
Hello, welcome to Oh My God Rescued Me. I'm Lisa Meister, your host. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. And I'm happy to bring to you survivor Sherry Spears. Welcome, Sherry.
Welcome. Hi.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. And you had to push through a lot to get here today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I sure did. I blanked out. Everything that I talked to you with, I went numb. My emotions went completely numb. I had suicide programs kicking off of wanting to die, even though I don't want to die. It's just, and I know it's a part. I had a journal that it was a part, and yesterday was really strong. It felt like I didn't belong anywhere and that no one wanted to talk to me. And I know staying silent, I talked to myself and was saying, it's like I'm the egg and I've already been cracked open. You can't put the egg back together. And so we're kind of hanging in a limbo section till I got to the point last night. I had to call my friend and she just sat with me on the phone and knew where I was at. I didn't say the word suicide, but she knew what I meant. And so she just sat with me. Sometimes she was talking to her partner, and sometimes they were both watching something and knew I was there, kind of sitting on the couch with them, but on the phone. And in the meantime, I wrote over and over, suicide is bad. Suicide is bad. You go to hell or the hell realms. And this morning I was writing it out that it's a game to me, that it's a win or lose game, that suicide, they win, suicide, no suicide, I win. And they don't win.
That's a great way to look at it. And it's so true.
Yes.
Because you're doing their work for them, wouldn't you be?
Yes. And I refuse to do their work for them. I'm a fighter. I've always fought up against a lot of different things that have happened. I know I disassociate at times too. I didn't think I did, but I realized I did after I talked with you. I forgot about the spinning program because after I talked to you, I went to the store and it felt like my head when I was driving, I wasn't even enjoying the day. It was like spinning. And all I could do is hang on the steering wheel and concentrate and trying to look at the leaves and trying to say what a beautiful day it is.
Makes it very hard to stay present.
Yes, and in my body and grounded.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been numb even before I contacted you.
And this is just about telling, because this is your first interview, correct?
Yes, this is my very first interview. I've been wanting to do it. I spoke with someone else once, and then that was a year ago. And so that didn't happen. And I had more information then, and I lost a lot of information that I had due to an episode that I had, and people called the police on me, and they took me in and put me in a psych ward for 3 weeks. And while I was in there, I did hear a lot about MK Ultra in there. One of the RNs was next door talking to another patient, and he's loud enough that I could hear everything that he was saying. And I reminded myself not to forget what they were saying. I don't know if it's a programming or not, but I'm more aware of what's going on now. So I just kind of, maybe they were trying to reprogram me. I'm not sure. It didn't work. I just was like, I wish I had a tape recorder to record all of this stuff so that other people could actually hear it happening. But I felt like when I got put in there that I was injected with true serum because I couldn't stop rattling off. I had so much stuff coming out of me about who, what, where, when, what's been going on in the present time leading up to when I ended up in there. And it was a mistake.
Why was it a
What
mistake, do you think?
it was one of the family members, not my children, but married into the family that got scared and didn't know what to do because I was yelling. Wasn't going to
Yeah.
harm anybody, but just yelling. And I normally don't yell to people or anything like that. But this was something that while we were in one of our groups and said something about family, and they said cult blood is thicker than family blood. And then they all of them, all the patients put their hands up and said Rex Lamunde or something like that. I don't know. I was like, are you kidding me with the social worker? And she smiled and was happy about it. And
Wow. You're like,
yeah,
get me out of here.
yeah. They kept me for 3 weeks. And I learned that you had to play along. And once I calmed down and when they stopped messing with me with medication, they medicated me a lot in there, but I fought up against the medication quite a bit
Wow.
because I don't take medications.
Right. Smart.
Yeah. So, yeah, that happened not so long ago. And it happened 7 years ago too from my ex because I was in a very abusive relationship, more of a mind game of cheating and lying and harming my kids in ways that shouldn't be. A drug addict. And that was a person that I was trying to get rid of, out of my life. And we have a child together. And on one of the incidents, he ended up calling the police. I think he was drugging me, actually, because he used to go down to my room. We had separate rooms and we lived together. And he would go down to my room and probably put stuff in my tea. And since I don't do drugs, you put drugs in me, it makes me, what do they call it? Tripping, I guess, when everything's just out of control and I try to grasp onto control. But by the time he ran off, I didn't know he left. My son was already safe with my daughter, but he ended up calling the police and said that I tried to kill him.
Oh,
He said my wife tried to kill me. And I'm like, what? I was trying to protect him because he was scared out of his mind. But so I come to find out that followed me for the last 7 years. And so when I was in the second time, the first time I was at a different hospital, I was at the U of M, and I had a doctor who was there. Well, he ends up showing up at the other hospital, the same doctor who says
that's
he's my
weird.
doctor and yelling at me why I stopped taking the medicine. And I said, because it was making me paranoid. I'm not going to take something that's going to make me paranoid. And I was fine for 7 years. They wanted to give me injections. I was fighting them on that. So I had to go to court. And right now I'm under court order to take medicine until January. And so, but I have a new therapist who's helping me and listening to me because the other medicine, they changed some of it. So now I'm not having nightmares because for 2 or 3 months I was having nightmares. I was like a zombie sitting there and just having drool come drooling out. So
Wow.
I guess their deed was to keep me quiet.
So did you forget some of the things you knew while you were there? Because you said you have less information now.
Yes. I feel like a
Oh,
lot of it got blocked or drugged the dickens out of me.
oh, wow. That's tragic.
Yeah. But I have journals. I just
Oh,
have a
good.
hard time going through, and I have pictures because I did art. I worked with someone for a year and did a lot of art therapy. So I have a lot of those too, of drawings that I've done. It's a little hard to go back right now and look because I have a concentration problem right now. I have a hard time trying to concentrate.
Sure. I can see with that, with all the elements of things going on in your life right now.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
would
I
make it
feel like I
difficult.
got pinned up against the wall again and trying to
Yeah.
break free.
So just day to day life is very difficult right now.
Yes. Yes. I mean, leading up to saying yes, that I will talk to you and yes, I will share my story. That's when the suicide programs started going off, which I didn't realize that they were programs. It was just, I want to die
Yep.
and it's okay to die. Not to go kill myself or do anything heinous crimes against myself, but just wanting to die.
Do you remember don't tell rituals?
No. But I do have a drawing that I did years ago where I have a gal that puts her finger up to her mouth and shushes. And I have a bunch of words around it but I thought it was because I was breaking program years ago and that's what led up to my ex putting me where I was put because I had drawings. I was on YouTube with other people. Come to find out, they were part of the group. I got sucked into a really not so good group. And so they were keeping an eye on me, and everybody kind of band together and made sure that I was going to be kept quiet.
Mm.
And I felt like I had like a brain injury.
Sure. Yeah. That's scary when you get sucked into a group that's unsafe, but it's so easy to do.
Yeah, because they were into the things that I liked. And so, and being friendly and kind and funny and you're thinking that you made friends and you think that you're doing something good. And
We don't notice the red flags.
no, I can see red flags for other people, but I can't see red flags for myself that much. I'm learning since I've been placed by myself because they know one thing is that we don't like to be alone.
Right.
And yet they made my world so small that it started to feel like I was becoming a dot.
Mm. Do you know how they did that?
Losing my home, losing my car, losing my abilities to function out in the world, losing my joy of going to the grocery store. I used to make the grocery store like a happy, joyful thing and talking to the cashiers and letting them know that I see them and they're not just a cashier, they're another human being. Because that's me. I'm
Yeah.
one that sees people for who they
Yeah.
are and not something that they're not.
So you've
Mm,
been able to get any of that back?
No, I've been numb since June of this year. I had it, but ever since the last incident, I've been feeling super numb
Yeah.
and trying to get it back. My friend notices that it's slowly coming back, but it's not
Good.
quite there yet.
I'm glad you have this friend.
Yes, she's been friends with me for 30, 40 years.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. That's helpful.
Yeah, she doesn't live here in Michigan. I'm in Michigan, and she doesn't live here, but she's from here. And so she'll get on the phone with me and stay with me because I don't work. I'm on disability. Because when I was 32, I was carjacked and run over. The guy was taking my truck. I was a Sunday morning. I was on my way to work. This is at the gas station. And he got into the vehicle and I went after him because I was a single mom, bartender. I took martial arts to protect myself. But I also am now aware that it was a lot of training that I knew if I could get my hands on him first, he wouldn't be able to steal my car. I'd pretty much disable him in order for the police to come and take care of him back. I never have that. I'm going to take a life because that's not me. I can't stand even looking at roadkill, never mind.
Yeah.
And I avoid animals, on the road too, as best as possible. But I knew that I had the ability to make sure that the person wasn't able to do anything. But instead, I got flipped off the side of the car and tucked and rolled and got my left leg run over and had to learn how to walk. I had 3 years of insurance, but come to find out, it was like one of the largest insurance companies in the United States at the time. And I had good doctors and then I had bad doctors, and I had good doctors and bad doctors. So I would fight with the ones with the medication because figured it out that if I get back in the hospital situation, that's where they come after me easier
Sure.
with medication. So I don't take any except for what I have court ordered to do right now.
Yeah. So you've been fighting that battle a long time.
Yes. So I had to learn how to walk. And that's when, lo and behold, the ex showed up. And I didn't want to date him, but I was compelled to. And he had a young kid, and I'm always about the children first. Children come first to me because I have three, but I wasn't able to protect them as much as I thought because I wasn't sure I never got to the point to what I was really up against until the last 3 years. I think when COVID came, it also had like you and other people that were out able telling their story. Now I was always drawn to survivor stories. I just didn't know why, besides empathy and sympathy and like, wow, I can't believe that. If there was a part of me that I can't believe it's happening, but then there's a bigger part that was like, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked.
Right. But there was something more.
Yes.
But you didn't know it before then?
No. I mean, I grew up, my family's a Mason family, my grandparents and my parents, and I couldn't stand their, I used to call them dorky little hats and stuff, and my dad was a Shriner. You name it, he was probably one of those people. He was into all the groups. And my mother was into something, it was called the Zelgaz Grotto and the Daughter of Malkana. And my grandmother was a Eastern Star. And she did ask me when I was 14 if I wanted to join. And I looked down on the floor where they have the Eastern Star. And I'm like, no, Grandma, why would I want to join something like that? That looks like a pentagram. I don't want to join anything with a pentagram. All she did was laugh because I was her favorite granddaughter out of all the grandkids. She always picked the firstborn, which I'm a firstborn. I have a sibling that's younger than me, 4 years younger, that my job was to protect her. So I protected her as much as I could because I was raised like the son my father never had. So I learned how to box and fight when I was in 4th grade to defend myself because I had a neighborhood full of boys. And so I learned how to roughhouse. As I was growing up, I found out it was safer to be a tomboy than dressing up like a girl.
Sure.
And especially with my father, I couldn't wear makeup around him. He always said it was war paint. I was allowed to dress up when we had weddings or something like that, because we traveled a lot to the East Coast because my mom's from the East Coast. And my dad met her out there when he was in the Navy and then moved us out to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then I grew up in the surrounding area. So I have military background because I tried going into the Navy. I figured if people are going to control me, I remember saying that if I'm going to get controlled and told what to do, I want to get paid for it. But the funny,
Absolutely.
well,
I
I
like
never
that way
got,
of thinking.
I never got in though. Women had to have 50% of math, and I tried twice, and I got 49% twice. So
Oh,
evidently, I wasn't allowed to get paid for whatever I was being trained and was trained to do.
wow, that hurts.
Yes. So,
So Ann Arbor, were you there 87 to 91?
yeah, I was working in Ann Arbor.
Ah, because that's when I was there. Wish I could have met up with you.
Yes, that would have been great. I
That would
could
have
have
been lovely.
probably broke free a lot more stories probably could have popped up by then. Well, because
Yeah, we could.
you played sports, right? I played softball.
I was at U of M university at the time, so I wasn't playing any intramural sports. I was playing basketball, I think, at the time.
Yeah, me and my friends used to go downtown and walk the diag and walk
Yeah.
that because it was a different time back then. You had so many different types of people that were out. You
Hmm.
had one year they had people protesting. The U of M students had all their cars on the diag protesting.
Yeah. Yeah. We might have passed each other on the diag. So I was on there quite often.
Yes, I loved
Oh,
going down there.
yeah, that would have been lovely. We could have talked and helped each other to figure things out a lot quicker than we did.
Yes, that would have helped. Because I
It
know
would
that
have.
but I also knew I was being followed. Because my dad would tell me what street I was on at what time, and so
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So the police department, there was an officer one time driving because they're always down there keeping an eye on everything and then people. And I used to have a watch, and so me and my one friend, my best friend at the time, I looked over. So we made a joke out of it. We made a joke like, Dad, what are you doing? Dad, I see you. And I seen an officer, and I think it was 10:36 at night. And I seen the officer look at me, and I said, I'm going to test this one out. And her name's Tracy. And I said, I'm going to test this out, Tracy. And I looked at my watch and I said 10:36. And sure enough, my dad was like, you were on William Street at 10:36.
Wow. So how did that make you feel back then?
I just made fun of it. That's all I knew how to do. It made me mad because, I'm like, I'm not doing anything stupid because in some point I felt like he thought I was being a bad kid, doing bad things, and I wasn't. I was just walking around with my girlfriend because I would do anything and everything to be with my friends than to be with my family.
Don't blame me there. You'd
Yeah.
figured some stuff out then.
Yeah, so if I and run away was one of the things that I always had, that I just wanted to run away from them. but I knew to watch myself in my small town of what you can say to the teachers or counselors. I didn't trust my teachers. I mean, there was a few good ones, but not enough. I had a good counselor, but I knew my limitation to where I couldn't speak to her either. So I was
So,
well aware.
what do you feel now about having been followed back then? How do you piece that into your story?
Well, I've been followed before. 7 years ago. I was, I think, gang stalked or something, where I had cars following me, a whole bunch showing up, having strange things. Now that I don't like. I mean, when I was a teenager, it was funny. But now that I have the conscious awareness of what's really going on, I don't think it's funny anymore.
Right.
I mean, I had what was it? When I talked to you, I think a day or two later, I was leaving because my mother is dying. I just found out she's dying of kidney cancer. Her kidneys failed, and she has dementia. And she's the one that I've never been close to, but I've been trying with God to make an amends for the last 20 years. I've been working on making amends for myself because I thought it was just the I don't know, want to use that word, regular abuse, where you're beaten and yelled at and being the main focus of the bad child. And but I was heading over to her house, and there was a car sitting outside the house, a little red one with a white old man and sitting in it. And I'm like, I've never seen him in our neighborhood. And then when I was leaving my mom's house, there was a caravan with an older man sitting in it on the side of the road, and there was a young gal across the street in her car sitting in it, which is just weird because they don't have people sitting around in cars outside their house either, or parking, just like mine. So that happened. I don't know if I'm being followed again or, I don't believe in coincidences.
Well, sure. Yeah. So the following just started again,
It
you
just
think?
happened one day. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, when we've been on the phone, when I was talking on the phone, we got hung up. I
Yeah.
counted
Oh,
six
yeah.
times.
Over and over. Yeah. That was weird. So you're being monitored then.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's funny after all these years when you haven't caused problem or issue for them and they're still closely monitoring.
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it? That how scared they are.
I've been aware about my cell phone, and I've talked into it, and I'm aware of the television because they can use cameras on your television and stuff like that. I've been aware. And I think I antagonized them because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm home alone in my house. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not in the therapy anymore. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even watching anything but Netflix for a while. I went on because I think one of my parts was looking for love. And so I got into it was Korean K drama where they just have cute little lovey stories, a little drama, but most of it's where people fall in love. And so I was doing that. Most of the people are dead that I grew up with because my parents were young Masons. So the ones that were around they were old when I was young, and they're not around.
So what's making you change your strategy to come on this podcast and tell your story instead of just staying in your home and staying quiet?
Well, I've always been wanting to tell my story. I've always been wanting to talk, even when I was younger. I've been wanting to talk. not to put any names out, not to put anybody down, but it's like, this is what happened to me. And I used to say to God, why me? Why is this happening to me, God? I didn't understand. Well, now that I've learned, thanks to other survivors sharing their stories, and there's books out, and there's a lot more information now online that we can access, because more people, the programs are breaking down and more are coming out. And I don't have gory details. I don't have a whole bunch of ceremony details, but I just want people to know that it is real. And even if when I didn't believe, it was me, because I think we all go through that of like, no, it didn't happen to me. Maybe I listened to too much other people and I'm thinking I'm them too, but they've been validating. They've been validating it's me. I just don't understand why I'm being monitored. I
Well, that's
honestly,
a strong validation, which they don't get, I think.
yeah, I don't know, to scare me back. But when I was in the hospital, everything that they did, I know, was to try to scare me back. But if that's what they used to do to me when I was younger, I don't remember it, but I do as an adult, and I haven't forgotten it. And there's no drugs that are going to make me forget. It's like I said, the egg has been cracked and you can't put, it back together again. It's just impossible. So I'm kind of stuck in a limbo, and why I wanted to come on is, one, to share my story, to let others know that there's more of us out here. Some of us are trying to find our voice. I was trying to find my voice. I had it and wanted to contact you. Then and I never said anything to anybody. I didn't say this is what I'm going to do. I keep to myself, but the day that I contacted you it was just the right time. I didn't say anything. I got nervous, but I did it anyways. And I figured I'm going to see what's going to happen afterwards, or in between time. And I got a little bit here and there, but like I
Uh,
said, most of the people are dead. They're not alive anymore.
That's true, but the group is still there
Right.
operating.
Well, I got to see the group up close
Yeah.
and personal.
Now, you did tell me about one of the rituals where they had you crying out to God and Jesus for help.
Yes, it was. I remember laying on a table or something. I was on something. I was laying down and I heard chanting. And people are going around me. There's a bunch of them and they're chanting. And it's dark. I couldn't see. Or maybe I had my eyes closed. It could have been it was dark, or I had my eyes closed. I started praying to God. I'm not Catholic, but I had a Catholic friend, so I was like, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and then I'd clap. As soon as I'd clap, I'd have somebody in my ear talking to me in a very deep, it sounded like a demonic voice. It sounded very demonic and so I did it again, and I clapped. And then they were over here, and I could still hear the chanting and the weird sounds, and they were mocking and laughing and saying God, and I was crying out to God. I wasn't even calling Jesus. I figured I was going to go straight to God to stop this. And they said that they couldn't, that no matter what I do, nobody can come and save me, and nobody can stop what they're doing. And then I did it the third time. And then it seemed like there was more than one. I remember more of it now, that there was more than one person. Like they were just over me, yelling in my face. And I don't remember anything afterwards because I had reoccurring nightmares about that.
Oh,
Just,
wow.
yeah. And I would wake up after that, after them yelling. I don't have my Bible near me. I have the Children's Living Bible, and it has pictures of Jesus in it. And I would grab that at night when I would wake up from any night terror that I had of remembering from anything, because I had a lot of them. And I would go to my parents' room. I was told to leave the room and go back to my room. I'm just having bad dreams. And so the only thing that kept me safe was Jesus, because I found Jesus he was introduced to me when I was 4 or 5 years old. And the Living Bible is, since it's a children's, it had pictures. So when I couldn't read, I would open up the pictures where Jesus is holding a child and rescuing a child. And that was my comfort. And I'd sleep with my book. And then when I was 14, we were all baptized, like John the Baptist had baptized. So I'd been baptized to Jesus when I was 14 years old. I mean, my whole family did it, but that's one thing that they must have parts too for them to get baptized, but yet never hold on to it.
Right. Was there a cognitive dissonance for you where you cried out for God in the ritual and they're saying, look, he's not going to come and save you, but yet you were holding on to Jesus in this Bible when you're having the night terrors?
Yes.
So, what did that do to you in your relationship with God?
I never, there was times where I thought God was doing things to me. Like if I got injured as a kid or got hurt or yelled at by my parents or grounded or beaten by my mom, accusing me of something I didn't do and then punishing me for it. And I would cry out to God and ask God, why me? What did I do wrong? So, and those were the times that I thought was a bad girl, because I was told that I was a bad girl all the time. And so I would cry out to God, what did I do wrong now? What do I need to do to be a good girl?
Mhm.
But Jesus became my best friend when I was a teenager. I looked at him like at my big brother, because I always wanted a big brother. I wish I had one to protect me. So I kind of asked Jesus, is it okay if I look at you as my big brother for right now? And I would sit on the back porch at night. I'd sneak out and sit on the back porch and just have a conversation with them of like, what's wrong with my parents? Why are they treating me this way? I'm a good kid. I don't do anything wrong, but yet to them, I'm the troublemaker. I'm the not so smart student because I'm an artist. So I was into art and sports, and I was pretty good at math and history, but I was like a B, sometimes a C student, not a straight A student. I didn't care to study. I'd rather run out and play with my friends. I just was trying to find any which way to be away from the family. And
Sure.
if I sat at home and studied, then I'd have to be with my family.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, because my mom was an at-home mom, and so we were able to play outside a lot because she'd just get frustrated with us and tell us to go outside. And outdoors was my safe place. Trees, I learned how to climb trees. I learned how to get up on the roof when I was grounded. Despite my mom, I climbed up a tree and sat on the roof. She's yelling at me to get down, and I said, I'm grounded. I'm home. But
Technically, that's where you need to be, I would say. But
yeah,
those are good strategies. That's survival.
yeah, I did. I fought against her. I knew my boundaries and not to push too much. Now, my father, I could argue and fight with him, not a problem. Um, but lately I have seen the side that he never showed, because he wasn't always at home. He was gone a lot, and he worked. He owned his own business, and so he was gone a lot. And I was the one that was trauma bonded. I can say that now to my dad because I thought he was the best daddy ever. He could do no wrong. He was always there. If my mom was mean, he would come in and tell me, sorry your mom treated you like this. And so he was made to be the savior. And my mom
Good
was
good
made to
cop,
be
bad cop, but they're both cops, right?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Because I would see there was times when I was a teenager, well, I think 20, and I was going to go out dancing and I was wearing a skirt and he had some of his friends over. And as I walked out, he called me a whore and a slut in front of them.
Oh,
And so I said, okay. I went back. I put on jeans, tucked in my skirt and my clothes that I was going to wear, and went over to my friend's house and changed my clothes then because I learned how to do that. I learned that I had to separate from the house because my bedroom, the way it was set up, had windows where the back of my bed was, and then I had windows along, and they were high windows, and I was in the corner back area. So I supposedly had peeping toms a lot that my dad would inform me that I had people looking in my window, supposedly the boys in the neighborhood, but I never believed that. I always believed it was him or other people peeking in my windows.
why do you think he said that to you?
My curtains never shut right, and they never bought me right curtains. I don't know, but I learned how to get dressed without exposing myself. I taught myself to pull shirts over another shirt and take the other shirt and take it off. And I never had privacy because if I was getting dressed, he would just open up the door. He would never knock. He'd just walk in. Or if I was in the shower, which I've heard others stories, but he never made it because I would scream at him when he'd come in the bathroom when I was in the shower. And he's like, I can't see you. And I'm screaming for my mom. And my mom would hear us because I played softball. I was an outfielder. So I learned to be very loud and I could let my voice carry. And so she would come yelling and ask, what's wrong with you to him. But there was times I used to wake up in the middle of the night and find my dad standing on the side of my bed.
It's interesting that she would come and kick him out.
Oh, she always did. If she had her, she was able, I knew if he was being in his perverse, wonky self, that I knew I could run to my mom and be protected because two daughters, she would yell at him walking around in his underwear. If he didn't shut the bathroom door to use the bathroom, she would yell at him, what's wrong with you? We have daughters.
Wow. I
So
think that's unusual.
she did fight in ways to protect us
Hmm.
when it came to that because my mom was molested by her own brother.
Yeah.
So she knows about the generational molestations. And so she's very cautious about that.
Hmm.
Even
I just
though,
find it fascinating.
yeah, even though when she goes to sleep, she can be passed out and be out for the night too.
Right. Did she know, was she participating in the rituals?
I'm pretty sure she was. I mean, there was times where me and my sister, we didn't get taken out a lot as I became a teenager because I was made to, when they got heavy into the Masons, I was made to watch my sister a lot and sit at home. So I wasn't able to go to sports. A lot of my social life did get kind of cut out because my parents were doing their thing. And there was times my mom would come home from a Friday night and sleep all day. So it seems like as I got older, they were more busy with other people. and possibly other kids.
Hmm. I just
And
find it fascinating that she wants to protect you in the home, but not in the rituals, you know? It's
because
just an
gets,
interesting dynamic.
she, when you give her too much alcohol was their thing. They used to drink alcohol. Now, the weird thing is I did have a doctor tell me after my carjacking, when I was in the hospital, they accused me of being a heroin addict, which I've never seen heroin in my life because morphine, when they give you morphine, I guess that's synthetic heroin. And I wasn't taking it. My body was flushing it out. So I was suffering from pain because they were having a hard time. And they did tell me that my mom molested me when I was younger.
The
So,
doctor did?
yeah, yep.
How did they know that?
I don't know, but I had a
Huh,
therapist, a trauma therapist, tell me that. And I went, oh, okay, that's interesting.
huh. So how did you handle that? It's like, I would rather not know, or
I was grossed out
yeah?
and I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting, is all I said to the guy. When they would tell me stuff, it seemed like they sat back and waited for a reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And I would never give them a reaction that they were waiting for. I always knew how to laugh it off and smile and just say, that's interesting.
What were you doing inside?
Being grossed out and going, oh my God, is that really true? Did she really, because I pushed her to find out that she was molested. I pushed her to find out that she grew up in an abusive family because I took childcare and I was able to, I had a write in, I think it was eighth grade or ninth grade. I had a write on child abuse. I had a paper to write. So I was researching all of that and the tales, signs. And so I was also self examining myself to them too. So I always had questions and was always waiting till I turned 18. But once I turned 18, whatever I was waiting for never happened.
Did you ever confront her on that?
No,
How come?
because I didn't know if it was true or not.
So nothing inside you said, yes,
Yeah,
this is
still to this day, I don't have anything. My dad, I have inklings, yes, because of him standing on the side of my bed, but I don't have the memories yet, the full on to say in detail or anything.
yeah, that's a hard one. And then does this part of you not want to know?
Probably, probably, I would say probably a part of me doesn't want to know, but lately, the rest now I do. Me right now, yes, I would like to know. I would like to know if both of them. I would like to at least have a glimpse of something, just to instead of feeling like I'm in limbo of second guessing. I'm tired of second guessing.
So you want to take the information of your past straight on then, deal with
Yes,
it.
yes, because where I'm at, I was kind of dealing with it before, and then June happened this year, and then I'm
Waylaid
still,
you.
you can't put me back in the box. I don't think I ever was completely in it. It just seems like I feel like I had a lot of too much awareness for them that they had to find every which way to distract me by throwing in guys that were broken guys that I can fix you, I can help you. I became a savior for broken people, I thought. trying to help others. So that was easier to run around and try to help other people than focus and look at myself. And I got to the point where I wasn't even thinking of myself, because if I did, I'd be vain. I was told that I'm vain, I'm selfish. You're not supposed to care about yourself like that.
Wow. Wow. You had another memory about tunnels and being chased in them.
Yeah, Ann Arbor has a lot of tunnels underneath the houses downtown. Um, where Harriet Tubman even used some of the tunnels, and the tunnels go into people's houses. I knew somebody that had a house that they could open up the door and show you. So I do remember the smells. The smells is musty and damp, and it's really dark. And kids would be put in there and we'd get chased. But I found a spot where it was small enough, and I have a drawing of it too. That's how I remembered that, where they had a person in a costume trying to scare you. But I figured this one safety spot that you can crawl in, and I found a way out. And I started grabbing kids and getting kids to follow me.
Oh,
It was never just about me. I've been, that's probably where I have that savior trying to save people, is that I was saving kids and as best as I could.
wow. How old would you have been? Do you know?
9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, soon as, even on the playground, if boys were chasing girls, I learned how to box in 4th grade because we did it, our town was weird. I think our whole town was all set up to be an experiment, actually, because they called it the cootie kisser. And there was one boy, and he was very, not a sporty boy, a very strong boy, but he was our cootie kisser. So the boys that grew up to be in sports were the ones that would chase the girls, pin the girls down, and then the young man would come up and kiss our faces. And it was not a fun game. They would go after the 2nd graders, 3rd grader girls and stuff, and it was my grade of boys. So I went home and I told my dad about it, and he said, "What?" Because my dad, from whatever they put me in, it was okay. But if it was outside of the group or it being okay with him, that was wrong. So he would teach me how to defend myself and protect myself. But when I learned how to push the boys off and kick them in the shin and throw them on the ground and get on them and beat on them to stop, they leave me alone. But then they started going after younger ones, the 2nd graders. And I had a friend that was a 2nd grader. So I started teaching some of the girls how to defend themselves from the boys when they come up behind you and grab you, till you kick them in the shin because they have to grab their leg.
So you've had a strong sense of keeping people around you protected for a long time.
Yes, as
What a
best
hard,
as I could.
yeah. What you had.
Yeah. I wish I would have remembered more, but I was kept busy. I was just always kept busy. And
Yeah.
like I said, trying to figure out every which way to be with friends. I never shared stories. They used to always ask me, because I lost all my friends in 10th grade. Finally, when I blew up to them, I started sharing some things, and they didn't like it. They couldn't handle it
Mm.
because I was always there for them, but they were never there for me, kind of thing.
Was that the first time you tried to disclose?
Probably, because I think some of us kids were all put together at times in my small town, because I graduated with 200 kids. and everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's parent.
Right.
So nothing was kept from each other. And then when I was in Ann Arbor, that's where my family's from. So everybody knows there, how to follow me and
Yeah.
keep tabs on me. And I
Yeah.
guess it's still the same, except for this time I'm pretty much by myself and I'm doing a whole lot, but yet they tend to still follow and get into my phone. And I'm just going to be curious of what's going to come up after this interview.
Yeah. Keep me posted.
Yes, I will.
So, how do you feel you're doing with healing? I know you've got the medications and everything till January, but from like where you were before all this came out and you started dealing with it, do you feel like you're doing better?
I felt like I was doing better, and then I feel like I just hit a brick wall and I'm stuck right now.
Yeah, can see that.
Yeah, like I'm numb.
Right.
I don't have the full emotional spectrum that I had of the happiness and the joy or the crying. I haven't cried in, I don't know, months.
But you have to take the medication till January
Yes, as
because
a
that's what
quarter.
takes that away.
Yeah. So I got my cheerleader friend that's just saying, just hang in there. Just hang in there.
Yeah,
Take one day at a time. She prays for me quite a bit.
good. He's the answer. I mean, it's, you have the groups, you've got the doctors, you've got all this craziness coming at you. And God, He's the only one that can beat all this.
Yes. I was
Because,
saying the other day, Jesus, helps the captors be free. And so I
yeah,
prayed and asked, Jesus, can you please help my captors? The ones that are in me right now, the ones that are really captive. Please set them free.
yeah, yeah. He's busy doing it. I mean, he's working at that if all of us.
Yep.
So it's quite a process because they worked hard to lock us down tight, didn't they?
Right. And I can pray for other people easier than I can myself. So I'm learning to pray for the captors of myself.
Good. It's a good prayer.
Yeah. Yeah, that just came to me the other day because for a while I felt like I couldn't even pray. And my friend's like, just talk to him. Just talk to him like you're talking to me. Just have a conversation. And
Yeah,
so I did. I said, God, I'm stuck. You know, sometimes I talk to Jesus, but when I get really stuck, I just want to go straight to God. I just feel like Jesus is strong and powerful, but God is the Father of all. And I need to go to my Father sometimes straight.
good. Yeah. He's just waiting to hear from us, from what I can tell in the Bible. I
Yes.
find that comforting.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. There was times where I used to be in the car and I used to call into Jesus and I said, I need you right now. And I just put my hand out and I'd put it in the passenger seat and I'd ask him just hold my hand. I just need you to just hold my hand. And I could feel him hold my hand. And I do have a drawing that I did of Jesus with his staff, and he has his hand reached out for you to grab his hand. And I drew that, I think 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It's a pencil drawing that one day I just felt it pressed upon me to draw. I don't normally sit and draw just to draw. I draw when I feel like I need to do something. It is. Actually, I'm thinking I got to look for it and put it out again so
Yeah.
I can look at it.
Yeah. There's a lot of healing in art.
Yes, there is. Normally, when I draw something, I got to look at something. But when I was doing my art therapy, I just put the pencil down and let it go. And they're cartoon pictures. So it's easier because when I was a kid, that's what it was. When I was a kid, I put everything in a cartoon form in my head. And so
Hmm.
maybe that's how I thought everything was funny because cartoons were kind of funny to me and I used to watch them all the time. I used to want to be a cartoon artist and was planning on going to Florida to an art school. And I would have had a great career, but the family stopped me from that. So they kind of just was able to keep me around here because there wasn't a good art college at the time around in this area. And I didn't have the grades to go to the U of M.
Oh, so you changed your thoughts into cartoons.
Yes,
Interesting. Do you think that made rituals less triggering?
yes. Even though
Huh.
some of my cartoon drawings that I have now are triggering because I did go through some of them the other day. I found some and was like, oh, I remember that. And there's another thing I like to do is block letter writing that I'll put around or just block letter. So while I'm thinking, I'll draw a block letter and then I color them in. And that helps too.
Does it
So,
make it almost seem like it's not quite you that's being abused if you look at a cartoon of you being abused?
oh, I could tell it's me.
Okay, so it
Because
doesn't put it
I
off
had
any.
long hair and pigtails, and a lot of my hair and long hair and pigtails, and I don't like the color red. And I have red shirts on in
Oh,
there.
wow.
So my mother used to dress me in red when I was really small a lot. And I just don't like the color red.
So, how are you feeling right now? Now that we've made it through this interview and you've been able to talk about it, you've done pretty well.
Thank you. I did better than what I thought. I thought I would blank completely out.
Yeah, you haven't at all. How do you
Well, because
feel?
I'm just making it like a conversation between you and I and not really thinking that it will be seen by many other survivors has made it easy too.
Because it goes against programming. And I think that there is a sense of accomplishment there. You
Yes.
know, that's a rebellion in a good way.
Yes.
And
Even though
I
my body is just broke out in a sweat, I got
oh,
sweaty hands and stuff.
yeah, but it's a step in agency, in reclaiming your life into I'm now living life by my rules and by God's way because I don't have to live by their rituals and by their rules anymore. I'm living by the freedom that God has given me. And He says that I have the freedom to speak and to say what happened to me. And I am perfectly allowed to do that.
And that's what
It
I
felt,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been wanting to do is just something happened to me and I should be able to have the right to say what happened to me or not.
And it felt good, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I mean, I feel lighter, a little bit lighter. You know,
Yeah,
I don't feel as nervous.
good. That's something to celebrate. And I highly honor this in you. It took a lot of courage to walk past what you did, to walk in today and to tell your story.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
And if you want to come back on another day when you have more pieces,
Sure.
as you get those and share more pieces, I would love to have you.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. I would do that.
So thank you so much, Sherry, for being here and sharing your life with us.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, everybody that will watch this. I hope it's going to be helpful to other people It's not easy, but you can do it too. I support you. I can support you.
And you could pray for them.
And I can pray for, yes, I can definitely pray for you. All of you. From those that I've watched to the ones that are to come.
What does it do for you when you watch other people's stories?
Well, some of them, it helps. It helps like, wow, that happened to me, or it helps when I'm watching them on your channel. They're smoother and they're not as heavy to me. And people have God behind them and not just the terror of what they did. When I've watched others, sometimes I get jealous because I wish that I had more of my story, or I get sometimes jealous, wanting to be through this and get to the other side further than what I am. But I know the other side's there, and no matter what, I'm not going to be held back. It's impossible. God's not going to allow that. I can feel that. I can feel like I'm being pulled along gently.
Yeah. It'd be nice for all of us to be all the way through. I don't know if we ever get there.
Well, I just want to kind of get closer to where I was than where I got to the wall right
Yeah.
now.
That is unfair. I am so angry about that. It is
Yep.
unjust. Completely unjust. I think
Yep.
there's a lot to be said in the stories. We can glean from everybody. It's interesting.
Yeah, because we're different, but yet we're the same.
Yeah.
We have that underlining sameness, even though we might have different dynamics, different families, or some don't even have the family. Some were outside of their own family too, but it's still the same.
Right. And I know some people don't understand why I have this a Christian bent to the interviews that I give, but I'm a survivor too, and it's a little too triggering for me if we can't get to the redemption side of the story. If we're just stuck in the evil of the rituals and we just leave it there, that's too hard for me too.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't. I just can't. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't either,
I mean,
unfortunately.
like your show, God only rescued you. God only rescued me. God only rescued all of us, to help us to have the tenacity to withstand what we've withstood and to bless us and give us the pieces that were ours, not theirs, ours that were missing, and to give it to us in a gentle way as best as possible.
Yeah. And there's not a gentle way, but as gentle as he can. Because boy,
Right.
it's an agonizing healing process.
It is, because sometimes I feel like it's a slow drip of agonizing process.
Yeah, I keep saying, Lord, there's got to be an easy button somewhere. There just has to be.
There's,
I haven't found it.
but there's a reason that's strengthening our spirit, is what I believe.
We must be very strong.
Yes. Because if not, we wouldn't be here talking right today.
That is true. 'Cause you made it through yesterday.
Yes. And yesterday was a battle.
And it was. That it was. And I celebrate you making it through because that was not easy.
No, no.
And listeners, whatever you are getting through, I celebrate you making it to today and making it to this point. And that is to be celebrated. And, we feel weak and we feel like everybody else is so far ahead of us. And that's not true. So celebrate how far you've come and where you are because you're here today. That is to be celebrated because we've come out of just the worst terror, the worst crimes there are. And so that we are still here is a huge victory. Don't you think, Sherry?
Yes, I agree 100%.
So you have Sherry's word on it. So do something nice for yourself today and have some compassion and patience. And if you would like to come tell your story, just contact me at lisa@onlygodrescueme.com and we can have a conversation and see if we'll be a good fit. Bring you on. Love to talk to you. And I'm also looking for supporters for the podcast. We've got some already for uh, YouTube. You can become a support angel for $4.99 a month. On Spotify, it's $2.99 a month. I thank you to all the people that have already jumped on to do that. There's a lot of expenses on this channel. And just thank you for everybody that's come on to do that so far. I really appreciate you. Hate to ask, but it's very helpful. And thank you all for being here. Thank you again, Sherry. God bless you as you continue to heal. And I can't wait for you to get past January, get rid of these crazy meds, and be able to get all your faculties back and be able to feel again.
Yep. Yep. It's going to take a little time, but we'll get there.
Yes. And thank you all for being here. God bless you all as you continue to heal.
Only God could rescue me. Only God could set me free. Only God. Only God. Only God.